By now, you know the saying when it comes to basement-dwelling MCU fans on film Twitter or film talk.
If it ain't right, it ain't right.
Yeah, believe it or not, some people are still pissed that the 2015 Ant-Man film lost Edgar Wright. They're still pissed about things almost like a decade ago. I know, it's sad, but let's talk about why Edgar Wright was fired. Okay, before we get into this, let me make this very clear. Scott Pilgrim, one of my favorite films of all time. The Cornetto trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Baby Driver, one of my favorite action films of all time. Last Night in Soho, love it. I pretty much love everything Edgar Wright has ever done. I'm not insulting Edgar Wright. I am actually just here to say that his fan base can sometimes be absolutely moronic and not understand, like in the case with Ant-Man, that he was not listening to what they needed. So recently, we had one of the co-writers of Ant-Man, Joe Cornish, talk a little bit more about Edgar Wright's departure and fallout with Marvel. And he says, as far as he can remember, that this all came to a head when they were working on finalizing the drafts that he was writing, and they told him they needed a couple mentions of the bigger MCU universe, and that the Falcon would be featured in a sequence, which of course we saw in the final film, and that this was a way to connect all the pieces. And that also, this wasn't supposed to be an entire heist film, it was supposed to be a smaller heist. Edgar Wright's script had about 15 people in a gang that were all part of this big heist, and the film was very much focused on them. And he refused to work in any other Marvel characters and references, including Falcon, which was requested. So the two were at a standstill, and then Marvel Studios decided to get rid of him because he wasn't fitting what they needed. So it kind of does make sense. If you don't want to make the film that you're hired for or bend over to the studio for their needs, they're not going to let you make your own film. I think an Edgar Wright Ant-Man film would have been absolutely incredible. But I think it would have been incredible if it was a one-off film, you know, in a separate time and place where the MCU doesn't make the Ant-Man film. Maybe it's a independent thing somewhere. I think he would have made an incredible film, but not the MCU film that they needed or wanted or could have served a purpose. So there we go. We now know what officially happened.